Okay, guys, hey, it's Mike White with Baby Monkey Studios. I'm pretty excited. I'm bringing you probably the coolest tutorial of all time. Never done it before, always been kind of intimidated to do it. Upgrading XCart 4 Classic. So, well, I say I've never done it before. I've never done a tutorial on it, and I apologize for that. I've probably needed to do a tutorial for the past 3 years. I've just been putting it off, and I was worried it'd be too long, it'd be too complicated. But I've decided, I'm going to break it up into chunks. This is going to be all one video, but I'm going to have the sections of what we're going to do and predefine those in the beginning, and make sure to link in the YouTube comments, the links to each particular section. So what we're going to do is start out, create a local copy of the site, zip it up, dump the database, download them both, unpack and copy them into XAMPP, our local web server, create the database on the local, insert the tables. We're going to upgrade the DB, and then that's going to be the initial upgrade, which I'll explain more later. Then we're going to upgrade the site with the upgrade pack that we download from our help desk. Okay, so there we go, and let's get started. So thankfully my good friend Myron is letting us use his site as a guinea pig. So this is our willing and ready test subject, ghpnutrition.com. Okay, the first thing on our list, create a local copy of the site. Zip up the site. So we're just going to start and run Putty. Actually, I've been using this kitty.exe lately. It's just based on Putty. It's just got a few more options. And we're going to connect to the site. We just put the host name in. Usually it's port 22. Realize this all depends on your host. You've got to get in touch with them and say, hey, I need SSH access. All right. And we need to cache this host key in the registry. So we just put our login and our password. Okay, and we are logged in. So I just always pull a dir and see where I am. And we're going to stay right where we are. We're at the root of this account. Okay, so let's zip that up. So we're just going to do zip -r. Then the format is the name of the file. And you can use tar or whatever you want for this. And then the folder that we want to zip up. So here we go. And that's going to take it just a second, so we'll pause. I'll take a moment here and say, what it's doing is just packing every single file on the site. And I'm only doing it in the public_HTML directory because this site's store is located at the root. If you have a store that's not located at the root, like say it's /xcart, then you need to go to that directory, one directory above that, and execute that command just on your directory in particular. So there you go. All right, so now we need to dump the database, and the command for that is mysqldump, and then the format is -u user, okay, and then -p, and just slammed right up on it, password. Sometimes I've actually had to put single quotes around the password. Your mileage may vary there. In this case we won't have to. And then the database name, so database, alright, and then the file that you want to go to. Well, actually no, you put the direction you want to go to, and you just make the arrow point towards. It's the closing caret there, and the name of the file that you want to dump to. So that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and run that command with my correct info, and you all do the same. Okay, and I just did dir several times to move my sensitive data off the screen, but you can see I have ghp.sql and public html.zip. So those are the two files that we want to download. Okay, so I'm already connected. I'm just going to refresh, and I should have those two files down here at the bottom, and I'm already in my right folder that I want to download to, so I'm just going to select those and download them. And here they come. Alright, let's let that happen. It won't take long. Okay, so after that you can just close FileZilla and exit Putty. We are totally done with the web, and we're going to work, well, we have to visit the web to download some files, but we're going to work on our local computer now. Okay, and so this is kind of 2 tutorials in one. You get the local, how to work on your local and make a copy of your site on your local, and how to upgrade it once it's there. So there you go, it's a twofer. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and extract this. I don't really need to, but I'm doing it. I'll just extract it here. I'll let that run for a second. Actually, while that's going, I'm just going to check on XAMPP, and it is running. I'm just going to click the admin panel to go over to phpMyAdmin. We need to create a new database, and the easiest way to do that is just create a new user and have that user automatically be added to that database. So we'll just add user. And security is not a real big concern here, so if you were doing this for a live site, you'd want to be secure, but here I'm just doing a test and playing around. So we're going to call the user and it's localhost, and the password is going to be real simple, and we're going to create a database with the same name and hit go. Alright, and so now we have our blank database that's got no tables in it at all, with a user created for it. Okay, so we're ready on that front. Okay, so it's extracted. I'm going to go ahead and rename that folder to something that won't conflict with what else I have. And my XAMPP installation is at local disk C XAMPP, and then htaccess is like the public facing, or in this case private facing folder. And I'm just going to copy both of these, this extracted folder and the SQL file right over here. Alright, that'll take just a second. We'll go ahead and open up our XAMPP control panel and hit the shell button. So now we're on our local shell here in Windows. And we're at C XAMPP. We're just going to do cd htaccess. Alright, and now we want to load that database back into the one that we just created. Okay, so we're just going to do mysql-u. It's kind of the reverse of what we did. Instead of mysqldump, we're doing mysql. Okay, so we're doing -u, and we actually made it user, -p, and my super simple password, and then the database name, which I named ghp.sql, and the direction, oh shoot, sorry about that guys, the name of the database, which in this case is also user, sorry about that, and then the direction that we want to go, and the name, I'm having all sorts of problems, of the file that we're bringing it from. Okay, so it's pretty simple. I'll just let you look at that for a second, and I'll have this in the comments. So it's going to take a second to pull all those tables in. In fact, I guess if we wanted to, we could even watch it. It's already grabbing tables. It's probably got most of the data already. And it's going to work for just a second. Alright, while that's going, I'm just going to flip over and edit the config.php. Okay, so I'm just going to flip over to my XAMPP htaccess folder, and there's GHP that we just created. And we have uploaded the database, or inserted the database into our fresh DB. So now we need to edit config.php. Okay, so right here, config.php needs to be edited, and I'm going to go ahead and do that and then show you what I do. Okay, so just around line 66 here in config.php we have the host, which stays the same in this case. It's localhost, the user, the database, and the password. So we have just updated these fields from what they were, and to fit this environment here. And we're no longer at ghpnutrition.com. We're at localhost. So we'll just take that, plug that in here. And then we're also in a directory now. And there's examples up here in case you forget how to do this. But we're in the directory GHP. Okay, so let's just save that. Now there's one more file that we have to edit, and that is .htaccess. So right here, our clean URLs aren't going to work unless we, since we're in a directory now, we need to tell it that we're at /GHP. And we'll just do that here as well. And that should take care of it. So let's save that. So now let's see, let's open our new site. So to do that, we just go to localhost /GHP. And there it is in all its glory. Let's make sure everything seems to be working. It sure does. Alright, so we have made a local copy on our server, and it's time to move to our next step, which is, yep, we're done with number 1. We're going to do number 2. We're going to upgrade the database. Okay, so our first step is to download the DB upgrade script. So we've navigated to secure.xcart.com, and we're just going to sign in right here. Now you want to go to your file area. I always get a little confused in here, but we need to go to xcart 4, supporting files for previous versions. Now let me take a second right here and explain what version are we coming from. Well, we need to find that out. So usually you can just type version in the and after the URL and find out the version of xcart. Or you can go into your admin panel and go to Tools, Summary, and just take a look right down here, xcart version, and this is 4.4.5. Yeah, those are 2 separate branches. Each one of these is a separate branch. So if we look inside 4.1, we'll see all the different versions that came out at 4.1 level. So these would, if you're upgrading from 4.1 to 4.1.12, that's an in-branch upgrade. And for that, we use upgrade packs. Okay, but in my case, I'm trying to go from 4.4.5 to 4.6.3. So I'm going up 2 branches. And so I have to kind of determine at this stage what my migration path is going to be. So I say that because, if we look over here in the upgrade packs, for instance, we'll see that we can upgrade from all these different, all these different options. But, we have 4.6.0 to 4.6.1. We have all the 4.5 series all the way up to 4.6.0. Okay? But if I look down, I don't have a 4.4.5 straight to 4.6.0. I'm going to have to make a leap in between. And actually, there's not an upgrade pack at all for 4.4.5 to anything higher than that. The next thing up is 4.5.0. It just, it gets us to 4.4.5 and stops there. And, then we need to go to 4.5.0. So what we need to do is we need to look back here in the supporting files, and we need to look at our version. Oh, no, excuse me. I'm so sorry. We need to look at the version right ahead of us. That always trips me up. And we need to look at the DB upgrader. So here, all we're going to do is be able to upgrade the database only. We're not going to be able to upgrade the database and the files. There was such a significant change between 4.4.5 and 4.5.0 that you can't upgrade the files. You're just going to upgrade the DB, which is everything that's important. I mean, it's all your orders, customers, users, everything that's going on with your site, and even the setup. But the actual files, the process is to upgrade the database, then install a new copy of xcart, and then, only then are we able to, run the upgrade script, then install a fresh copy. Then we're able to use upgrade packs from this point on. So we're going to try to get just from 4.4.5 to 4.5.0, and then we can use upgrade packs to keep going with the upgrade process. Okay, sorry, I know that was long, but it needed to be said. So let's just go right in here, and let's grab the zip version. I'm going to show that in a folder. It's a quick download because it's a really small file. And I am going to pop over here and put it in my working folder. This is my working folder for the client. And I'm just going to go ahead and extract it. This one I'm going to extract it to something so it doesn't just fill up this directory and make it all messy. And here you got notes and all this fun stuff. But I already know what we want to do with this. We want to just grab it and copy it. And now we'll make a backup. I know we've already made a backup of sorts. Yeah, actually, I'm not going to be using that copy. We'll keep that open for a second. I'm going to come over here and go back to my htdocs folder and just copy this entire folder once again and paste it, and that way I just have an original copy of the files when it started. I love backups because I hate to have to backtrack. And while that's doing, let's pull this open and let's do a dump. So taking a dump, here we go, and we're just going to have this direction go this way, and we'll name this 445, just in case we're looking at this later. We'll know this was a copy of the database at the 445 level. So I'm just going to go ahead and dump out the database one more time. Why not? And boy, it dumps a lot faster than it inserts. Okay, so I'm going to rename this. I'm not going to rename this 445. I'm going to call this 450. So I'm going to leave this as my original and move forward with this directory right here. And as we know, when we change stuff like that, we've got two places to go. We need to come in here and change this to 450. 450. Save it. We've got to come down here to our config.php. All the database info can stay the same because I dumped off a copy of the database. I'm not going to make new databases for each step. If I screw up, I need to revert, I can just go back to one of the copies. I'm just going to keep a copy of the file structure separate. Okay, so that's all ready to go. And now, if we navigate here, just want to make sure everything's working before we mess it up, right? We go to 450. Yep, it's all working. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the contents of my downloaded DB script and select all and copy it. And then right in here into the folder of the GHP 450 that I've created, I'm going to paste it. Yes, let's merge that. Windows is such a nanny state, isn't it? Okay. And so now we just need to run the upgrade script, and that's upgrade_sql.php. So we're just going to tag that after our URL here, sql.php. And it's strongly recommended to back it up. Good thing we did. Make sure the storefront is closed. We don't have to. It's a good idea. True. But in this case, we're working on a local host. We'll just see what happens. Run the check database integrity. I actually already did that earlier when I was kind of testing around with this site and realized that it was going to be a good candidate for this tutorial. What makes it a good candidate is that it's pretty stock, and everything checks out there. So let's just proceed with upgrade. Why not? Okay, so I'm not going to make you all sit through that. We'll just we'll pause it and see how long that takes. Okay, it was a little over a minute, and it has done its thing. It gave us a time elapsed, I think, of 1 minute and 18 seconds, just about. And so we have now we have not upgraded the files. Again, we've just upgraded the database. So we have a 450 version database. Okay, so according to our list, it's time to install a fresh copy of Xcart. So to install our fresh copy, we're just going to pop back over to our support help desk, go to Xcart 4, supporting files, and we are looking for 450. So there it is. And we want the gold.zip. Let's let that download. Here it comes. Okay, my recording software just messed up on me. I'm going back and recording this part, so sorry about the discontinuity. So anyway, I've downloaded Xcart 4.5.0, and I'm going to copy it or cut it out of here. And then I'm going to put it in my working folder, just like I have been doing everything else. There's other files in here that we've dealt with later. Don't worry about those for now. And then I'm going to extract to right here. We'll let that extract. Actually, while it's working, let's go over here. And everything that was in the GHP 450 folder, I'm just going to get rid of. So I'm just going to delete it all. Okay, so that's all extracted. I'm just going to go in and get the file structure and copy that and paste it right into that 450 folder. Alright, that'll take just a second. Okay, now we're going to pull open that folder and can't connect. Run the installation script. Alright, accept, next. Everything's writable, next. Okay, so here we are. The web directory is right, localhost is right. We know what our database name is. It's user, and the username is also user, and my super secret password, and my email address for all of you that don't already have it. Okay, next. All right, it's telling us a warning. Installation wizard found existing tables. That's good. We want it to. None of these settings really matter. I mean, usually I select United States and you know, I tell it configuration settings, no example data, but none of that stuff's really going to matter because we're going to click this box, update config.php only. Okay, and the next thing, what that means is no data is going to get installed. The database is not going to be affected by this installation script. Just the config.php file itself is going to be set up correctly. Blowfish key, that's really important. I mean, if we miss this step, we could go back and fix it later, but we're going to do it right, and we're going to go ahead and look at our original file and paste the blowfish key in from the other Xcart installation we have. So here I am in my htdocs, and I'm going to go into the GHP folder, which is my original, you remember, and the config.php is what we need to edit. And all the way down here at the very bottom is where you'll find your blowfish key. So you just take it just like that, copy it, and paste it right in here. Okay, next. And so it's going to go really fast. It's checking the encrypted data and it's okay. That's great. Next. Let's see if we're working here. It's all looking like it's working. Next. I don't want a system fingerprint at this point, no. The only thing important here might be the auth code. And I usually grab that, put it in a different text document, but I don't even think we need it in this case. So there you go. We've finished our installation. Let's check it out. So let's visit the customer area and just see, you know, how things went. Ooh, I'm not getting any images. That's a scary little thing. Oh, we know why that is. It's because I blew away the folder and got rid of everything inside. So we need to pull the images over and put them where they go. So I guess we need to add a step here and say move images from old folder. All right. Okay, so I've got the GHP over here on this side, and I'm going to find the images. I'm just going to copy everything except the htaccess. Now there might be htaccess inside each one of these. I really don't want to copy over those just in case they've changed in the newer version. So we'll just paste these in here. And we come over here and refresh, and we've got all our images just like they should be. We've got all our categories. Let's see if I can log into the admin. And I messed that up a couple of times because I don't have an actual user for myself created here. I had to use my customer's username. But we're in. And, I think that orders and everything's going to be here. So this site has been upgraded to 4.5.0. Okay, so we've reached a successful milestone now, and we have a copy of the site that's actually functioning. And I can tell you, during an upgrade, you really want to hold on to those moments. And the way to do that is to copy your files, make a backup, and pop open your handy dandy well, we really don't have to dump this again. We're pretty confident that it's the same one. We haven't altered it at all. But I added myself as a user when I had the video paused, so I'll just dump it again for good measure. Can't hurt anything. Okay. So I've got now my 4.5.0 copy, and we need to figure out what is our next destination. Where are we going from here? So let's go to get our upgrade pack, and we want to look and see what it'll jump to from 4.5.0. I think that we're going to be going up to 4.6.0. Yeah, 4.5.0 to 4.6.0, and that's the highest that's the best we can do. So we're going to have to go to 4.5.0 to 4.6.0 and then jump again. But let's just select that. 4.5.0 to 4.6.0. I'll take a zip archive and get an upgrade pack. Alright, it's taking a second. I think it's building the pack for us. And our download should start shortly. There it goes. Okay, it's done, and it's just over 4 megabytes. So that's actually a pretty hefty amount of changes that are going to go in here. So let's move that into my working folder. And I'll paste it in here. And I think you know the drill of what I'm going to do next. We're going to extract it. So we'll let that run. Okay, so since our target destination is 4.6.0, I'm going to rename this copy that I made. I'm going to leave this one just the way it is and not mess with it at all. At times, I would even make a duplicate database when I was about to make such a big jump like this. But in this case, I'm pretty confident that I've exported my database at all the different stages and named it appropriately, so I know how to get back to where I am with the files in 4.5.0. So here we are at 4.6.0, and I think our first step we know now when we make that change is we need to do config.php. I know I'm beating this stuff to death, but I'm just showing you every step of the way. Alright. I don't want to assume anything. Going to htaccess. Oh, we don't have clean URLs in here. But they're turned on. So, we need them. Let's pull over this htaccess, because I'm fairly certain that nothing's changed there. We'll just put that right in here. And I'm going to put it in my, not to confuse you, but I'm going to put it in my 4.5.0 directory as well. If we'd clicked on any links, they probably wouldn't have worked. And that copy that I just put in there needs to be altered to say 4.5.0. It's getting late over here, guys. Sorry. 4.5.0. Alright. There's 4.6.0. I'll save that. Okay, so we've edited config.php and saved it, and our htaccess, both in GHP 4.6.0. Okay. So we should be ready. We've moved it to a new directory here, and we've extracted our upgrade. So we are just going to take everything and Control A, Control C, or Command on a Mac, and we're going to go over here and just paste it all right into this folder and merge all the items. Wow, that's hefty. That's a lot of stuff. Copy and replace. Alright, and now we are really winging it. I have not prepared or tested this part of it. We're hoping that the script and everything works good. I'm going to go to the admin side. So localhost. We're working in 4.6.0 now. There's a lot of directories. It all seems to be functioning still. We'll go to the admin. I've seen weird stuff like this happen in the mid upgrade. We can check that out later. I'm sure we can get to the bottom of that. Let's just go to Tools, Patch, Upgrade. Current version and target version. It already knows what we're doing. It's giving us some information here. After the upgrade is completed, check the following features. Okay. Nothing to worry about. We'll be doing that. We'll be checking over the store with a fine-tooth comb. Okay. It's not allowed to store. I created backup copies. I'm a developer. I understand and agree. And I understand and agree. Alright. Let's do it. There she blows. If you're going to run into any errors, this is where they're going to happen. This is a major problem. Of course, since we started with a fresh store, it's unlikely that it's going to run into any problems here. But if it is, this is where it's going to have them. Okay, so everything's got just nothing but greens and okays all the way down. That's what we expected. We'll just do apply patch. If you have problems on that screen, it's a whole nother tutorial for that. I'll have to make that later. But, this is going to work for most of you guys. So far, so good. Applying the patch. It looks like everything went okay. It's really just like the screen before. It's actually done it. You can read through all these and it'll say successfully patched for everyone. Most likely. Bunch of junk here. All the hunks that succeeded. I wonder if Quality Team knows that hunks are good looking guys over here in America. Alright, so those are done. Patch applied successfully. Finish. Current version 4.6.0. What can we do now? We can just reload the front of the store and see if it freaks out. No, and there's not really much of a change either. I think that we're going to have new templates in our settings in our appearances tab. Oh yeah, we can select a deal responsive just like I like. Okay, so yeah, it looks like everything's good. We have a 4.6.0 now responsive site. And we need to do one more step to do 4.6.3. Alright. I won't beat this to death anymore, I promise. Obviously, I'm going to export as 4.6.0.sql now. And then I'm going to go to my folder, copy and paste. Making backups. This time, I want to keep this file structure. So I've got a copy of the database and I got a copy of the file structure. So in anticipation of my next move, I'm going to go ahead and rename this to 4.6.3. We know what comes after that. The deal is 4.6.3 is the latest version for me. So in your case, you might be going to a much later version than this, but hopefully the same path will work, the same, process. So we did htaccess. Let's do config.php. We just have to tell it where it is. It's now at 4.6.3. So it's not 463 yet. I'm just doing this in preparation. You know, we made it 460. Now we have a copy at 463. And it's using the same database as the one at 460, but we also backed up that database, so if we ever need to roll back to that, we're ready. And we are going to pull down the next upgrade pack. So now we want to go from 460 to 463 and get upgrade pack. Alright, let's let that build and download. Okay, I know this is redundant. This is one of the reasons I was worried about making a tutorial about this, because it's kind of my nature to show you every single move. We are going to copy this to our working directory, paste it in there, extract it. There she blows. It's not nearly as much. So we'll go get those files and copy them and take them over to our directory, which is now 463. Yes. You know, I want to say I get a lot of flack for working in Windows. I know that I should work in Linux. I know I should work in Mac. I'm a Windows guy, and I always have been, and I need it for other things. I know that's always the excuse, but I do actually need it for other things besides Xcart development, so I work in Windows. Alright, and I do just fine. So now we're ready to go to the admin side. And we're going to go back to patch upgrade. This is probably looking very familiar. We have to sign our life away here and prove that we are not idiots. Aha! And this is interesting. This is kind of new, and this is still new to me, even though it's been going on for several versions. Access to the resource you're requesting is allowed only for registering IP addresses. The IP address you're currently using is not registered with the system. A request for registering your IP address has been sent to your email. Now this is actually, I'm going to have to take a second and research this and figure out the fix, because I don't think it has been sent to my email. Because I don't think this local host can send email, so that's kind of a flaw there. Well, it's not a flaw; it's just a fact of life. So let me take a look at this and get rid of this error message. Okay, so I've actually just pulled up a config.php, and these options allow you to define the protection method for SQL security. Blah blah blah. You know, basically it says, you know, I can use file or IP. Well, in my case, I'm going to try to use file. You know, because like I said, I could probably go into the database and put my IP in there manually unless it's encrypted, which we could get around that too. But you know, I'd rather just do it the right way and do this file. Let's see if it'll let us apply the patch now. We go back, uncheck and check, and hit apply. And protected mode is enabled. Changes the file. You know, it needs a xcunlock file in the var temp directory, no problem. Okay, so we just pop over here, we go to var, we go to temp, which should be empty, new file, text document. We're going to call it xc underscore unlock, no extension, and leave that there. And now we hit back, check and uncheck, and hit apply. There she goes. Okay, so not a big deal. That always gets on my nerves when I'm working on a client site, especially when I only have Xcart admin access. It really ticks me off then, but only, again, because I'm old school and I'm not used to it. It's actually a great thing. It's great security. Good job, Xcart. So now we're applying the patch. And I'm really expecting everything to go smooth with this. I mean, we'll pause it and let it run its thing. There it goes. It's done. Its status. Let's take a look. Everything is good. It has lots of honks. Ksenia would love that. Just kidding, I know she's married. All right, and we finish. And now we are version 4.6.3. So it is completely ready. Take a look at the storefront just to make sure. I've got pictures. I've got a functioning site with a whole lot of categories. That is a lot of categories. I might have to look into that. No, that's manufacturers. Oh my gosh. Okay, we might have to turn that off for this particular site. Way too many. But yeah, there you go, guys. Oh, you know, I won't sign off yet. I know this is really long. Feel free to leave me now. But I guess I'll go through the steps of putting this back online. I have to do it anyway for the client. So we'll just we'll put this back online, and I'll show you some problems you might run into there, and we'll move forward. So that's going to be step 4. Okay, now we're in extra innings. We have added step 4, move the site back online. We're going to zip up the site on our local, dump the database one last time, upload the zip in the database, create the new database for the new site, because we're going to keep a backup copy of the actual store in a subfolder. And I'm actually going to do this in a subfolder at first, because obviously I want to get my dev copy up on the site and make sure that this is working in the customer's environment, and then contact the customer and say, hey, let's check out this site together and make sure everything's working before we go live. All right. Okay, so you can imagine I'm going to zip up this site. Let's add it to this zip file. I'm just using zip. I sometimes use tar or tar.gz, but zip is easy on Windows. All you Windows haters can sit there and laugh at me right now. This is a good time. All right, and then one more time, we will dump the SQL file. So those two things are happening. They're both done. All right. So we should have 2 files here. Zip and SQL. We'll just copy those. I put them back in my working folder because that's how I operate. And then we'll look for FileZilla. And there's my zip file. And incidentally, I know that my zip file, I'm going to go ahead and put the SQL file up here in the root. I'm already connected to the site, so it's just going to start uploading there. There it goes. I'm going to put the I know that this zip file already has a directory, and like I mentioned, I don't want really to I really don't want to overwrite the root right away. I'm not going to replace the site probably in this tutorial, because I'm going to check with my client, make sure everything's working, and get the site ready, do the logo, do the style, and the skin. But we'll go ahead and upload this zip file, and we know what the zip file contains. If we go inside of it, that's one of the reasons I use zip on Windows. You can look inside of it without extracting it. But there's the the folder. So that's the folder it's going to create on the server, and I just uploaded it to public_HTML. I uploaded the other file right to the root, but I'm uploading the zip file under public_HTML, so when I extract it, it will just create that directory. And if I want to be super cautious, I can go ahead and check and say, does that directory exist? And we'll find out, no, it doesn't. Yeah, it's not there. So we won't be overwriting anything or messing anything up. We'll just be creating a dev copy of the site that's the upgraded copy in a subfolder under the root, if that makes sense. Obviously, it's a lot slower uploading than it is downloading. One thing I'm noticing as this is going up is the SQL file is a lot smaller than when we took it down. We also have a smaller zip file going up. That's The SQL file being smaller is a little bit worrisome. I don't know what's been dropped there. Probably statistics or something like that. If that's the case, great. We've really helped. Oh, FileZilla's having some kind of silly problem. I'm going to just go ahead and tell it to overwrite. It looks like it's having a problem at the end of the upload. I've had this happen before, and I really can't explain it. It's like it's some servers just can't deal with a big file being uploaded. It's probably fine when it's reaching the server, and it's just a server misconfiguration problem. But in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and let it try to overwrite one time, and after this, no more. I'll find a way to upload that sucker. Okay, so the zip file went up just fine. It's just this SQL file when it tries to store, like the final store command on the server, it's like it's having some kind of problem. I'm going to cancel it. I'm going to assume that it's actually uploaded itself properly. And if I really want to check it, I could rename this one. Underscore, and then and download this and pull it open in a text editor and just check. I mean, why not? We've worked so hard. I'll do it. Opening this SQL file, I mean, it's absolutely massive. I'm not so sure how it'll work out. I'm trying it in Sublime Text too, just to see how it'll handle it. And it's pulling it open, but I've got a little while to. It's time to play solitaire. Okay, as I suspected, it was actually storing it properly. Probably just some kind of difference in the way in the file structures between Windows and Linux, and the size is not verified. It's actually different once it gets on the server. So, it's dumping Xcart zones here and dump completed, so it's good. I have to say, Sublime Text handles these big files a lot better than Notepad++, just because it gives you a loading interface, and once it's actually loaded, you can just scroll right through the file. It's amazing. All right. So we are done working here locally. We can close all that stuff. And I'm going to have to enter the cpanel for this site, which I'm not going to show you guys. I'm just going to go ahead and enter the cpanel and create a new database. Well, no harm in you seeing this part. You just log into cpanel, and then you go down and you go to MySQL databases. So I created a new database, and now I'm creating a new user. Then we just need to add the user to the database, and we want to give all privileges. Okay, so we should be done with cpanel. The next step is to load up Putty again. And you just do your host name. We did this earlier. A little redundant. I'm just showing you each step. Okay, so I've logged in and done dir a few times to clear things off. And now we are just going to work with the files that we have and the information that we have. So I'm going to just do the same thing we did locally. We're going to use the mysql command to restore the database first. And again, it's -u user -p password database name, and then the direction we want to go. In this case, we're going up, so we point towards it, and then the file that we uploaded. So just name all those things appropriately. In my case, it's ghp463.sql. ghp463. Alright, so I'm going to correct all these and make it the right information for this site, and you do the same. So that command went well. It always takes a little longer than when you're dumping the database. So now we're just going to change directory to the public_HTML, and let's just hit dir because I like to do that. We can look through here and make sure we find our file. think we named it ghp463.zip. There she is. Okay, so we just want to unzip ghp463.zip. Going slow. And that should be all we need, because we know what it's going to make, the folder that we have inside the zip file. And be really careful at moments like this, because it could overwrite all your files. So there she blows. That just took seconds. I mean, it's faster to unzip in Linux than it is in Windows, and zip is a Windows protocol. What can you say? So now what do we have to do? You guessed it. We have to edit the config.php and the htaccess. And so, I'm just going to use File Manager for this inside cPanel, because it's really kind of the easiest way to do this without downloading the file, editing it, and re-uploading. So we'll pick on File Manager. And we'll go. And we'll look at public HTML. And we will look for our new folder. There she blows. And first we'll do .htaccess, which I'm not seeing. Okay, when I open File Manager, I should have told it to show me .htaccess files. It's a rookie mistake. It tells you I'm tired. Let me go back and do that. So in cPanel, when you open File Manager, you want to hit Show Hidden Files. There we go. And there's our htaccess. So we just select that and hit Code Editor. Sure. And we just want to tell it what the rewrite base is. Ooh, I just made another rookie mistake. Gosh, it's getting late. I don't think I'm in the GHP463 folder. Glad I caught that. I would have taken the site down. Code editor. In fact, when you're playing around like this, that's exactly, well, look, it's already got the right information, because we're using the same directory that we had before. So the only thing we need to edit is config.php. And let me get there. So I just edited the username and password and the name of the database, and it's just whatever you created just now. You see me do that several times, and the web directory is still correct, but the local host definitely needs to change. And in this case, we're just making it the URL of the site. You'll make it whatever your URL is. And the directory is still fine, because we're in a subdirectory. Like I said, this is still a dev copy until the customer approves it, until we finish the scan and get it ready for live. Alright, so let's just see what we can pull up here. And I suspect that there's going to be a problem, but we'll just wait and see. Okay, so the problem I'm having is twofold. One, when I first loaded up the site, this is the page that I got, and the reason is probably permissions. And so I'm going to have to run some chmod commands, which I've showed you guys in other tutorials, so hopefully you know how to do that. But you have to dress up the permissions. All the folders should be 755, and the files should be 644. And I can say this: if I'd used tar instead of zip, I could have added a flag to make it preserve permissions, and then if I'd operated in a Linux environment only, instead of Windows as my local host, I wouldn't have had this permissions problem. So I saved this page so that you could see, even after I correct my permissions, I'm going to have a problem. And the problem is I need to turn off SOAP, and I need to turn off output compression and register globals. So there's problems with the server environment. Now, you don't have to deal with this stuff at all if you work with an Xcart recommended host. I really highly recommend EWD hosting. I always try to get in a plug for them. I think they're wonderful. But in this case, we have a host that's not set up by default for Xcart, and so we're going to have to edit our PHP INI file. I may look into seeing how hard that is and how much, if we even have ability to do that. And either I'll come back to you and sign off, or I'll come back to you with the fix. Okay, so far, it looks like setting my permissions to 755 for all my directories and 644 for all my files. That's going to fix me up. I might have to set 777 on the var directory. I just don't know what the server setup is yet. But apparently this host does let me edit my own php.ini. Thank you very much. And this is just the init file for PHP. Didn't expect to get into this, guys. This is not something that everybody's going to have to deal with. Guess it's a good thing I'm having the problem. But we need to turn this compression on. I've just saved a backup of the file, and just in case, because I don't want to mess up the current site. It's late at night, and I'm on the same time zone as the customer, so it's a good idea for me to try this, and hopefully it won't mess up the live site. But that's definitely something you want to be worried about when you're changing the way PHP works. It might screw up the live site just to get your dev site working. Okay, so we did the zlib output compression, and now the next thing it's telling me over here is that I need to have register globals off, which I highly recommend for every site in the world. So let's save that. And let's see, the last thing was SOAP support, but that's just a warning. We'll get by with that with that being off, I believe. And this php.ini doesn't even reference SOAP, so the package might not even be installed on the server. So I'm going to try to ignore that. Okay, and again, this is just, this hosting environment. I added the php.ini, but it didn't take it. No changes were made. So we had to go over here and actually in the htaccess tell PHP what the configuration path was for the php.ini. So, it probably won't apply to you, but it applied to us in this case. So we'll refresh this. And there's the admin panel. We'll see if we can pull up the front of the site. Okay, everything looks really good. Well, actually, no, it doesn't look good, does it? We're going to have to work on this a little bit more. Either we have to run cleanup.php, or we have to do something to get these errors fixed up. Okay, so we need to run cleanup.php, and so we just go to Tools, Summary, in the admin side, and we get our auth code. Auth code for installing modules is, let's just copy that. And we'll come out here, question mark, auth code equals, bam. And so it's cleaned it up. We'll just try to pull the site up again. Okay, looks like no problems. Let's check and just kind of see if clean URLs are working. Yeah, everything seems to be working. It's going really good. It's all responsive and everything. Okay, so I'm calling this done. I don't see any issues at all. I want to check the live site real quick and just make sure that the changes I've made haven't screwed it up. It looks okay. More testing is required, of course. But I think that we're looking good. And I think we have reached the end. One more thing I want to mention to you. And this is, I'm going to pop over to phpMyAdmin real quick. Now this didn't happen this time, but you'll find from time to time that your images, when you're working with Windows and then you're back working with Linux and you're moving between the two, some of your table names will get messed up. It's like Windows doesn't, recognize capital letters in the table names. Maybe that's been fixed. It certainly didn't happen to me this time. But anyway, this time we're fine. But that's one other thing that you want to check is these images. If your images aren't showing up, it'll say xcard underscore images underscore lowercase l, which Windows doesn't care. It'll work. But Linux certainly cares. So that's a gotcha that you want to look out for. Okay, well, I don't know. I think I got my permissions straight. I got the site working. It's looking good. We need to start skinning it and making it more personal for the customer. But I think we're finished. Well, guys, that wraps it up for my tutorial today. And I want to thank you all for watching. I also want to ask you, I never do this, but if you'd like to support me, you can always PayPal a donation to mike@babymonkeystudios.com, which I will be glad to accept any amount. Also, support me by buying my modules or even hiring me to help out on your next XCart project. You can reach me at mike@babymonkeystudios.com, just the way it sounds. All right, thanks. This is Mike White signing off, wishing you great luck with all your e-commerce efforts. I'll talk to you guys soon.